Hey, it's Anthony with Land Title. Came to bring you your first to know update for Boulder County. Take a look at this. As we get January data coming in here, beginning of February, you can really see that we're kind of off to a very similar start as we were last year if you're looking at it by price point. So average sales price, right where we were. Median sales price up about 4%. So that's a good sign of the health of the market there. If you look at the condo townhouse numbers, word of caution here. I think that they are showing very well, and it might be slightly misleading. And I'll tell you in a second why that might be. But it might be just basically this slide, right? If you look at the price per square foot is very similar to where it was this time a year ago. Now, last slide right here, we are showing condo townhouses up 7% on the median, average sales price up 2.5%, but we weren't trending any better than we were a year ago. So I do caution at the lower price ranges. I think we're depreciating in the condo townhouse market. At the higher luxury price points, you can see when they spike every year, that stuff skews the averages. So you can really kind of tell there. But as we look at price per square foot, it's a good gauge of what's happening and when. And if you got stuff on the market early before there's too much inventory, I think you can absolutely see how that might be beneficial. Now, the other side of the flip side of this coin is the detached market, the single family home market. If you look at the price per square foot here, it might be misleading in the other direction. The averages, the medians, they all look very strong. It looks like we had a little bit of a slow January start. The most important metrics in this entire thing are supply of inventory and what are sellers doing, right? So if you're working with sellers, this is your slide. Active units of inventory are up 34%. More inventory on the market to begin the year. It's going to follow that same trend it follows every year. We are in a rising inventory environment, right? And when that happens, more sellers are participating than buyers. You see inventory levels rise. It's going to create downward pressure on prices, but it is also going to mean that buyers can be a little bit more choosy. And as we list more homes, we have more homes on the market, those sellers are going to have to give up more in order to get stuff to the closing table, and they might have to come off of their price a little bit, right? So as that stuff happens, your best chances of getting listings sold for the price you want is earlier on in the year before there's too much competition. You can see it here in the pending numbers. Yes, the pendings were down last month, much similar to 2023, but it wasn't like that across the state. So it tells me that this might be a fluke month for Boulder County, and you're going to see those back up to the 2024 numbers, or at least fingers crossed that's where we're at. They definitely shouldn't be below the 2023 numbers, but we are off to a little bit of a slow start with buyers. In Denver Metro specifically, the pendings follow last year, so it tells me that it might have been just a little bit of an off month for Boulder County. Month supply of inventory, just like with the inventory situation we talked about, 2.6 months puts a more of a balanced approach on the market. We're not quite there yet. Usually by the time we hit about 3 months of inventory, it starts to feel a little more balanced around these parts. Expect inventory to rise above 4 months of inventory by the time we hit June, because we're just in that market where we have rising inventory. We have less sellers or less buyers than we have sellers. And with more sellers participating before the buyers come to market, it is really important to help your buyers understand that they will be in the driver's seat this year. The sellers need to understand that earlier on, if you watch this trend right here on the pending numbers, look at last year, the green line, we really saw our peak in buyer behavior in April. So if you look at it by market activity, how fast does it take to sell a house? If you look at 67 days in MLS, it's going to trend down all the way through June and then back up. So this is the slowest month of the year, very traditionally for houses and sales, right? Because stuff that sat over the holidays, it's going under contract in January, took longer to sell than maybe stuff that's new to the market. So that's headed that way. Close the list price, though, very stable with a year ago, very similar, a little bit up from there. So buyers and sellers still participating. They're all still in this, low buyer environment is what I would call it, where it's just not as much participation. The most important slides in this entire thing to tell you what you need to know is what's happening with showing traffic, because it's preliminary information, right? So showings to go under contract, that's showings to pending, is 16 right now. The homes are going under contract with less showings than they were a year ago, or even 2 years ago, or even 3 years ago, right? So less showings, which is great because we have less showings per listing. Buyers could be flat, right? But with showings down per showings per listing are down, it just means with more inventory on the market, we may still have the same level of buyers, but they can be a little more choosy at what they look at. So we still have to drive 16 showings on average to go under contract. We're just doing it with 5.8 showings instead of 7. So reduced buyer behavior in some ways, increased seller behavior in some ways. Those are kind of your biggest takeaways today. If you need submarkets or other stuff, please reach out to me. I'm Anthony at Land Title. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.